As I neared the end of my career at 3rd Fleet, I realized with the timing that was going on, we had Iraqi freedom was about to kick off, and I was trying to get 4 of my 5 battle groups and 4 of my 5 amphibious ready groups ready to deploy or be deployed. And I told her, you know, I don't have time to look for a job. So what you need to know is when I walk away from 3rd Fleet and from the Navy, I won't have a job. But we're not going to starve because I still have my retirement pay, but, you know, wherever you want to go. And so she told me that we'd really just go wherever the job led us. And that's when a guy by the name of Mike Herm.
When I first met Mike, he was still in uniform, and I looked at him across the breakfast table at our first meeting, and I said, you know, the first thing I have to do is I got to look past those stars. They're just too bright. What I'm looking at is not to hire the stars, I'm looking to hire a man who has a good feeling for what we do patriotically in our trade, and it can work well with people, and can take the stress of building a growing company. And well, ultimately, Mike signed up for that challenge, and that began what really became not just a employer-employee relationship, it became a very good friendship. We found we had a lot of solid values that we shared together, and those values aren't in chasing dollars, it's in the pursuit of doing a job well, and of having people that you inspire to on to success and such. Mike was very inspirational that way.
We just moved 30 miles to the north of where we were in quarters there at San Diego. And so we bought a home there in Carlsbad, and life looked like was a Cinderella ending.
Shortly after Mike's retirement, Marilyn's health problems escalated. Complications with diabetes had greatly affected her eyesight, and the malignancy was discovered in 2004.
December the 15th was when she passed away. Those were probably the darkest and saddest days of my life. Had gone to the Pepperdine lectureship, which was in the first week in May. And before I got there, I got an email from David Underwood. We always had to find a time to get together while we were at the lectureships, and we set this one luncheon up. So David and I spent time together at the lectureship, and we're sitting there eating our lunch, and he wants to know how things are going, and I'm trying to tell him how things are really going, and that I'm beginning to feel like I'm coming to grips with it, and I'm able to accept what's happened. And as I got up to leave to go to one of the other classes, David said, "Brother, I want you to know I'll be praying that God will bring you a Christian wife."
As Mike was in the midst of his storm, dealing with the death of his wife, another Harding alum, Marilyn Rogers, was picking up the pieces of her life following the devastation of a divorce. 2 lives with Harding connections and mutual friends were about to be brought together in a way that only God could have orchestrated.
Marilyn was in our youth group, and she was one of the very, very active kids in our youth group. She was always there, she was always helpful, she was always smiling, she was always encouraging. And so the year after we left, 23 kids from the youth group came to Harding. And Marilyn was one of the kids that came to Harding.
That she is truly a loyal friend. I have watched her from the time I was very, very small with some of these same sweet, dear women growing and developing and maintaining these friendships.
As an educator, I worked with Marilyn, I think, until the time that she left, approximately for 14 years. I was assistant superintendent during this time. She was a teacher in our centralized kindergarten, I consider, from being in education 43 years and working with Marilyn during the 16 or so years she was in education, a truly master teacher.
Well, when I got the call from one of the elders' wives, Marilyn needs you. Perry has left, and Marilyn is on the bed just in tears. She was just so devastated she could hardly stand it. And of course the 3 children were the same way. I had a hard time getting her out of bed, and I had to say to her one day when she said, I can't get up, I'm not going to, I said, yes. I was hard on her in a way, because I said, yes, you will get up. You have 3 children, and we're going to go in the kitchen, make a cup of tea, and we're going to sit down and talk about what we're going to do.
Had to be very frugal and really budget, but she seemed to always have what she needed, and then she would always set aside some to help somebody else. And it seemed like she always had that to help somebody, and that once she found herself in those circumstances, her desire to help someone in need was even greater.
She had heard about this program. It's used by a lot of different churches. It's just called divorce care, and it's very biblical. It's based on only God can heal a broken heart. It's a wonderful program, and Marilyn was wonderful. She is a woman of very spiritual depth.
She's hard to put a label on, because in one sense, she seems very fragile, and then on the other hand, if she's in prayer, or if it's a ministry to broken people, or if it's her passion for others who've been through divorce, she is a lion, and she will. She's bold and courageous, and she will climb any mountain to serve and to help in any way that she can.
And yet how God was able to nurture her and to bring her to a point where she could turn that hurt into an opportunity to minister to other women. And she spearheaded, she started this divorce care ministry that has really become an evening here at Southeastern of outreach. There's a divorce care for kids, and Arms Wide Open, a substance abuse group that meets now. All that started from that one seed, that one dream that Marilyn had of a church that reaches out to people who've gone through the hurt of divorce.